Joker got lucky, stole her back again. You better come on in my kitchen. It's going to be raining outdoors. I know she gone, she ain't coming back. She took every nickel that I had. You better come on in my kitchen. It's going to be raining outdoors. I could spend $3.63 on Diet Coca-Cola, unlit cigarettes. You better come on in my kitchen. It's going to be raining outdoors. Hey, thanks for joining me for another guitar lesson video. I'm Gareth Paul, and today I'm going to show you how I play Come On In My Kitchen by Robert Johnson. All you need is your slide and your weirdest guitar, and let's get started. So for this one, we are tuned to open G. So it's really easy to get there from your standard tuning. You drop your E string down to a D. You drop your A string down to a G. You keep your D, keep your G, keep your B. Drop your E down to a D. So you have a fifth, a root, a fifth, a root, a third finally, and a fifth. So notice that these three strings open. The top three strings just makes a nice G major chord. G, B, D. Be using that a lot, but up an octave. Just a little note, I number the strings from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To me it makes more sense for the bass to be 1. So if that's not how you do it, so be it. So I am playing with slide. I have it on my ring finger on my left hand, and damping the strings to my left of it with my first finger. As you probably know, when you play slide, you have to damp. Otherwise, just everything rattles, and you can't really control things very well. So you damp just lightly with your first finger, and you have your slide here. So that's how I do it. A lot of people like to have the slide on the pinky, and honestly, if I could do it again, I'd probably learn it that way, because I think it'd be better for some things. But it's too late now. Okay, so we talk about this in some of my other videos about Robert Johnson stuff, and you kind of have to think of the guitar as being split in two, and we're playing a really strong bass line, and we want that bass just to be like a thunk. So I am palm muting kind of the bottom three strings on my guitar. So I'm palm muting that open G, but I'm letting these strings ring. So you just have to get the angle of your palm the right way, but it really makes a huge difference. I'll just play a little bit for you without the mute. It's kind of like not damping on your slide. It's too much noise, it's too much going on. That bass kind of tends to overwhelm the other voices, so you really got to get in the habit of doing that palm mute to get that really percussive bass. Half of your guitar is sort of acting like a drum and bass, so you really want it to be very percussive and rhythmic. And the rest of your guitar is more like a lead guitar, like more of a solo voice. The bass line and the chord progression for this song couldn't be easier. We've only got 2 chords. We've got G and D, that's 1 and 5 in the key of G. I'm going to play the notes, my G here on my 2nd string open, my D here on my 1st string open, 4 on the floor rhythm, nice thumping bass, muting with my palm, all that stuff. This is not actually a 12-bar blues form. It's pretty close, but it's not quite. And it actually has 13 bars. It's not that uncommon in old blues songs. You kind of have your 12-bar blues and then maybe a little turnaround or something that takes an extra measure, and that's basically what we get here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my bass with my thumb on my right hand. I'm actually going to count measures for you on my left hand, doing 1 measure at a time in groups of 4, and you'll kind of see where that extra measure comes at the end. So it's going to kind of be 4 measures, 4 measures, 4 measures, and that 1 extra measure. So like this, 2, 3, 4. Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum. All in G so far. Da-dum, going to D. Dum, da-dum. Then G. Da-da-da, D, D, back to G. Dum, da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Back to the top. Da-dum, da-da-dum. Da-dum, da-da-dum. Da-dum, dum, da-dum. Down to D, G. Da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Da-da-da-da-da-dum. So do that as much as you can while you're playing all the upper voices and singing and all that. Just keep that bass going. That is the best way to make this really sound good, really have a nice rhythmic pulse to it. So just do everything you can to keep that bass going. Doesn't hurt to practice it by itself. One thing you can always count on with Robert Johnson is that his songs are going to have a great intro, and this one is no exception. Here's how I play it. So I'm starting with a nice little thunk, just my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings, G, D, and G, played with my thumb, 1st and 2nd finger. And then I'm up to the 3rd fret, 3rd fret, 1st finger on the 3rd fret, so I'm playing an F note, that's on my lowest D string, playing the same note up an octave, so I'm on the next D string, the 3rd string, also on the 3rd fret, my 2nd finger, really the only fingers I have to use, and open G with plucked with my 2nd finger. And then you just walk that down. And I want you to notice how I added that G in the bass right at the end. The sooner we can get that 4 on the floor bass rhythm thumping, the better. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that G while I can. And then the end of the turnaround lick, we're just playing our open G string, our 2nd string, sliding from this 3rd fret to the 4th fret, plucking these 2 strings open, my 3rd and 4th strings. So here's the whole thing. 2, 3, 4. Sometimes this gets a little messy. Don't like it that way. I'm going to go ahead and show you the turnaround right now, since it kind of occupies the same musical space as the intro. It happens at the end of every chorus. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a bass note G on the downbeat. If you want to count this, it's 2, 3, 4, dum. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, we really always want to be conscious of this 4 on the floor bass going every part of the song. Intro, main part, solo, turnaround, everything. Keep that steady bass going as much as you can. So we got the bass going. I am on my 3rd string, tuned to D, sliding up to the 5th fret from the 3rd. Open, so 3rd fret to 5th, back to 3rd and open, on that same string. And that is very similar to the intro lick. Again, I'm sliding from the 3rd fret to the 4th fret. My 2nd string, I'm grabbing this G open, sorry, this D open, and then I'm hitting that bass again. And then this is just a really nice thing to add. A lot of Mississippi blues, Delta blues songs do this nice little feathery G up here on my 5th fret. I like to just play that as soft as I can and really make it sing. It's a great juxtaposition. You kind of got the nasty, and sloppy and dirty. And then you got that just really pretty G right there. So that's what I try to do. So here's how to play the sort of the lead voices that we talked about earlier. We got that thumping bass going. Now we're gonna show you how to play the nice clear lead voices, the higher stuff. I'll note before I get there that when I was showing you the chord progression, I was playing this low D for my when I got to D chord, and through the course of the song, I'm actually doing it here on the 7th fret with a slide, with damping with my first finger, and with palm muting. So yeah, you can do that with the slide. The note doesn't come out super clear, but I think it sounds super cool nevertheless, so that's how I play it. So here's the whole thing for you one time. A little bit slower. 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. So here's how to play kind of the lead voices like we talked about earlier. We got that bass in place, and now we're going to play the higher sort of solo voices. I'll just quickly note that when I showed you the chord progression, I was playing this open D down here, down low, when I went to the 5 chord. And throughout the course of the song, I'm actually playing it here, the 7th fret, same note up an octave. So 7th fret with the slide, with the first finger muting and damping, and with the palm mute as well. So yeah, you can do that with a slide. The note's not going to come out super crystal clear, but I think it sounds really cool anyway. The bass on this style is almost equally as much about just the rhythmic aspect as really being able to hear the pitch. So that's what I'm doing on the bass. Let me play the lead voices with the bass for you one time. A little bit slower. 2, 3, 4. Back to the top. So always keep the bass going. You gotta just get in the habit of doing that to play this style. So the first thing, I play my top 2 strings. We talked earlier about how this is just a G major triad, and same thing up an octave here. So the vast majority of the song, we're just playing around with that G major triad up here at the 12th fret. It's really fun just to kind of play around and make up little licks. And once you add the bass to that, you can sort of see how it's going to be irresistible. But to be exact about what I'm playing, I'm starting here with my B and my G up on the 12th fret, so my highest two strings. Then this is a really nice lick. So I'm just letting my G slide down a whole step, down to the 10th fret, and then right when I get there, I'm picking it up with my 5th string. So sliding up to my B, and then playing that G. Such a great lick, so much fun to play. So that's kind of the main lick. I kind of do this sort of interchangeably with this. So that time I'm just picking my B note up to the G instead of doing them at the same time. So same lick. I think one time I did this. Took a little practice to keep that bass going. But that's another fun way to do it. There's so many variations you could get into if you wish with that just triad lick up here on the 12th fret. So that's when we're on the 1 chord. Then we're gonna go to our D pretty soon. Come on. So this time I'm picking the G string and the B string. And this is great. So I'm just putting the slide across the 7th fret, but sliding up. I'm playing my bass 4 on the floor. If you listen, you can hear it. So always keep that bass going. And then it's a lick just really similar to what I was doing up here in G, but now it's on D. And you could vary that as well, if you wished. It doesn't happen as much as this G, so it makes less sense for me personally to vary it too much. And then that corresponds with "It's going to be raining outdoors." And that is super fun to play. So it's going to be raining outdoors. So I'm starting on my top 2 strings again, just how the whole thing starts. Sliding basically the same thing I did when I went to D. But I'm sliding back up to G, because remember it's 2 measures of G, 2 beats of G, 2 beats of D, and back to G, so it's pretty quick. So this all gets a little tricky because you have to change where your slide is located vis-a-vis your strings up and down, because here you have to have your slide covering your 2nd string so that you can get that D note. And when you slide back up, you want to leave this G, this same string that you were just playing your bass here on, you want to leave it open. So you have to move your slide down in order to let that string be open. So my slide is covering up all the way up to the 2nd string. I'm moving it down a bit so I can hear that open G. And this lick, same thing basically. I'm playing my D in the bass. Sliding from the 3rd down to the root. And then I'm sliding back up to my 12th fret to the G, and you kind of got to get that note there on just the kind of on the upswing with your 1st finger. I'm sure if you listen really closely to me playing this, my bass is probably pretty inexact in spots. You know, like for instance here, it's not really an A in the bass, a D in the bass, it's flat by a half step, right? But your ear doesn't really catch those things. You just really hear that really thumping bass. If you can, throw in a little vibrato always with your slide. You don't have much time because you're getting back to this lick, but it's still always nice to throw a little vibrato in there. And you know, something that I always try in my playing and certainly don't always achieve is just try to get the most legato, the longest notes you can get. Just long, pretty notes, even when you're playing something really kind of down and dirty like this. Especially with those higher notes. Just really want to hear a nice... if you can get those notes as legato as you can get them, it's a real nice juxtaposition with that really staccato and percussive bass. So let me play that whole thing again. 2, 3, 4. Same lick again. Now we're going, come on, come on. Very, very fun to play. Let me just play the whole thing for you one more time with the intro and everything, and then we'll say goodbye. So here we go. 2, 3, 4. Thanks so much for watching. If you're enjoying my videos, please subscribe to the channel. Sorry I don't get videos out more often. And please give a listen to my band Winter Barn. We're on all the streaming platforms. Our music is very different than this, but maybe you'll like it. Thanks for watching and hope to see you next time.